What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Lob It Up podcast with your hosts, Tobias, Siavash, and Chris. Boys, how are we doing this week?
Take it away,
Let's go ahead. I'm fine.
Take it.
I'm good, man. It's snowing now. What the fuck?
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. Fuck this.
Yeah, man.
That was butt juice.
Yeah,
Winter is
butt
not
juice.
my favorite. Winter is not my favorite season, but the aesthetics of like outside when it's like snowed on the ground and sunny out is like one of my favorite things.
Yeah. It's the cold. I don't mind the snow. I just fucking hate the cold.
Yeah, the cold. I'm not excited about waiting for my car to heat up before I can drive it.
Yeah. Chris,
how you doing?
Yeah, I'm right there with C. You know, I'm doing well, but was not excited to look outside and see clouds just dumping snow all over us last night. It's too early, man. Snow shouldn't be allowed to fall on the ground until at least like last week, earliest of November.
It'll be gone. It 100% will be gone within 2 days, and then we won't see snow until like end of December, January.
Yeah, even like looking outside, anything that like poured last night is gone. It's already melted, so. Yeah, Dad.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not really into the whole winter phase, the whole winter season, but, you know, this is a great time for sports. As unfortunate as it is outside, it's always good in the arenas. We got football, you know, kind of in the middle of their season. The NHL is underway, and, of course, the NBA is also underway. And we're starting to see, you know, a bit of, just like the snowflakes outside, we're starting to see some teams in the NBA start to fall as well. So, obviously, we had the Raptors last week, very, very high in the Eastern Conference, but they're not doing not so high anymore. But
hey,
I think things will start to level out, you know, as we've said. But there are some teams that are still high up there, like the Washington Wizards, still with the best record in the Eastern Conference. So that's pretty impressive. I like what Washington did in the offseason, just having, you know, a well-rounded team. Versus having Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal in the backcourt. But what's your opinions on Washington so far?
Man, I did not expect them to come out like this hot out the gate. I was like, okay, like, yeah, they're a solid, good squad. Like, they made some good, like, you know, pickups and whatnot. But, yeah, for them to be first, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even have them. I think I had them as 10th seed in our season predictions.
Mm.
But to look at them right now, you know, that's another team I will say I don't expect them to end up in the top 3 by the end of the season. I think they've had a great start.
Totally.
I think teams are going to figure them out at some point, and hopefully they will end up in the top 6. But I could also see them dropping down.
Yeah, and it's just kind of the narrative, the ever so going on narrative we've had the past couple of years with how does Russell Westbrook affect his team, and you know. We can talk about when he's on the team and it's not always his fault and there's other issues going on, but when we look at the next year once he's left that team, they seem to do fairly well or better than they did with him on the roster. So again, we're seeing it with the Lakers so far early this season as well, with them kind of having some turbulence, but they're starting to figure it out as well. Like, what was the last game that the Lakers just played?
They're the Spurs last night.
And that was a tight game, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fairly tight. It was
I think it was
10
like,
points.
Yeah, it was within 5, I think, in the last 2 minutes.
And then they played the Timberwolves. That's the one I was thinking of. They played the Timberwolves on Friday and lost to the Timberwolves. They're another sneaky team as well over in the Western Conference that's been putting in work. But they are a team that should be doing well, in my opinion. They've got the players, they've got the roster that can put together a competitive season in the West, and it's nice to see them go out there and actually win some games.
Yes, sir. I want to say something before we go on to our takes of the week. I've been hearing a lot of discussions about what the Lakers should have done in their off season, and one thing that I keep thinking back to is, you know, hindsight is 2020. And you can't have this, like, you know, afterwards be like, oh, they should have not traded for Westbrook. But if you were to be in the Lakers' position in the offseason, and you have the choice between Russell Westbrook or trading Kuzma and Harrell for Buddy Hield, which is a trade everybody keeps bringing up, and they say they should have rather gone with that. I think if you were in that moment, any sane person would have gone with Westbrook.
I would have wanted Buddy Hield. Because Buddy Hield fits their system a lot better than Russell Westbrook does.
No,
Russell Westbrook and LeBron are the exact same player. But they need
I
shooters.
agree
Like
with that
LeBron
point.
needs shooters, and Buddy Hield is a great shooter in the league.
But you saw how when LeBron went down, the team just broke down and they
Sure.
started losing a lot of games. So they just needed somebody that could actually help the team if LeBron is going to have these injuries towards the end of his career.
Sure, but, and again, you might laugh at this, but they would have been able to keep Dennis Schroeder likely at that point as well. Had they made the trade for Buddy Hield, they would have been able to keep Dennis Schroeder. So does Dennis Schroeder jump up? Does AD take the step that he's supposed to be taking as, MVP candidate? So there's a lot of, I know what you're saying, but there are a lot of factors here. I just think, again, in a situation like this, sure, like, we've seen Russ step up, which is nice, finally. But I think for them as a full, healthy, cohesive unit, Buddy Hield would have been the better trade.
Fun stat of the day: Russell Westbrook has been shooting 44% from the three in the past 5 games.
There we go. It's good because the first 5 he wasn't doing too hot, so it's good for him to
That
finally
ball.
figure it out. And
That
same with
ball,
AD. And yeah, exactly. Same with AD too. I had, so I don't know if it was field goal percentage or if it was three point percentage, but this season he's posting definitely 3-point percentage. He's posting the worst by like a top big all time. So that was terrible to see. But last night against the Spurs, he started to have a comeback game, so a resurgence. And I think that's the guy, more so than LeBron, more so than Russell Westbrook. If that Lakers team is going to do anything, going to be competitive and going to be consistent, it's going to be because of Anthony Davis. So
Have you forgotten about Malik Monk? Oh,
yeah,
come on, man.
yeah, Malik Monk. He's been nice though, and Carmelo Anthony too. Like you've given Melo his flowers early on this season. He's been very important to that team. So, with that being said, Chris, do you want to start us off with your take of the week?
like this is my little hot take. This is what we're doing.
Whatever,
Regular
but
take, hot take,
spicy,
whatever you want.
yeah.
A little spicy, a little lukewarm. I don't know.
You want to season it? That's up to you.
Season it. No, let me wash it first. Actually, fun fact: you should never wash your chicken.
Yeah, no, I don't know why
Like
people are still doing that.
People wash
kinda
their
bad.
chicken.
Yeah, you gotta.
Oh, bro, it's like a big thing. Like, like the what do you call it, the health thing
Yeah,
in America was like, hey, like stop washing your chicken. There's like salmonella everywhere.
yeah, because you kind of get it like kind of.
Yeah.
You have to like clean like the whole kitchen.
Yeah, true. What the fuck?
And it's like, but
that's weird.
you
I had to tell my mom to
different
stop
takes for
doing that.
different people.
What's that? See?
I said I had to tell my mom to stop doing that. It's like some shit like, bro, it's like a ethnic people thing.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Like I didn't want to say it's a black people thing. 'cause,
much like
my
seasoning
parents
their
do that
food.
too.
That's why Tobias is a little,
Yeah.
little pepper. Ooh,
They
spice.
just take out the package, throw it
Montreal
on the
steak
pan.
spice, but
Montreal steak spice on everything.
yeah, that and Frank's Red Hot Sauce.
Jeez, this guy. But yeah, just cruising the web, reading some debates, things like that of people. One that I kind of came across that was a little interesting to me, and just reading it. Some people are going on and having that Bam is a better overall player than Sabonis.
Bam is a better player than Sabonis.
Bam is a better overall player than Sabonis. Now,
I
seeing
agree with that.
arguments for both kind of sides, whereas obviously Sabonis offensively is the much better player, if you're to look at it that way. But Bam also, put up those points for you, but he's much, much, much better defensively than Sabonis is. And if you were to look at the two players, who would you rather want? Would you rather want Sabonis, who's, yeah, he's going to drop you a bunch of points, but he might also let in a lot of points. Whereas Bam, it's like, yeah, he can still get you a decent amount of points, but defensively, this man is just going to, lock people down. So,
Yeah, Sabonis is a lot more like his dad. Like
Mhm.
he's a longer range shooter, whereas like you mentioned, Bam is. I think I put it in the in our predictions, our war predictions. He's a defensive player of the year candidate. So
yeah.
Sabonis isn't even sniffing a DPOY at any time right now, but I would say his whole career. So I totally agree. Bam is a better player than Sabonis for sure.
I think the comparison is very close. if you ask anybody, I think they would rather have Bam over Sabonis.
Mhm.
But as you guys mentioned, I think Sabonis is very talented offensively, and that's
Mhm.
something that gets overlooked because he's in Indiana and you don't really see the way he plays. Indiana is a small market team, so you don't even see the highlights, right? Because you're good.
No, yeah, the cat was just making some weird noises. I was like, "Yo, is there a ghost? Is there an intruder? Am I gonna die on camera?"
That'd be a good clip for the podcast.
Yeah, yeah,
You see how many
exactly.
rush we got?
At an expense of Chris. Yeah.
Like, cut,
Just
we're
make some
good.
love,
Hey,
though.
Chris, by the way, I need you to send in your file if you can do that whenever you get a second. He's just like in the
Yeah,
back of a
after he
van,
did.
Yeah, just
blindfolded.
No, I just tell the killer, I'm like, yo, can you upload this file? I need
Yeah.
the clip for that.
It's just send me
But yeah,
remote
man,
access.
But yeah, Sabonis, again, I think if you ask anybody, they would rather have Bam, but I think Sabonis is really underrated for his talent. And I think if he's in any other situation, he might get better attention. But at the same time, Bam is able to play the 5 and the 4 and just guard from 1 to 5. So I would probably have Bam over Sabonis as well.
So looks like we're all pretty even on that too. So
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. Okay. Should I go with my take?
Yeah,
For
let's
sure.
get it.
This is kind of like a kind of recycled this take from our last episode. I had a different angle to it. So for our listeners in our last episode, one of my takes was that the rule changes in regards to the fouls really benefited the game this season. As you've seen, the game is more physical and there's less calls going on. And the game is actually going at a faster pace. So for casual viewers, this is actually really good because they
Sure.
get to watch the game. They don't have to be there for 2.5 hours. And if you remember, I think last season it was the Clippers versus the Suns. I think game 2 or 3. The last 2 minutes took over 30 minutes because there was a review every
Yeah.
2 seconds. So that's my take, and I think another side to this whole rule change that is making the game more entertaining is all the physicality that's leading to all these fights. Did you get? I don't know if you guys saw Miles Turner and Rudy Gobert hugging the way I will hug you guys next time I see you.
Did you see what Rudy Gobert, which is your boy, see? Did you
No,
see
it's
what
not.
he
Stop
said? Did you see what he said in the post game interview?
He said something along the lines of, "This is all acting. It's like WWE.
Yeah.
They know that there's police there, and we will get stopped. If anybody wants to see me, they can come see me."
Does he say? He's like, these guys aren't about that life. Like he's
Yeah,
like if you want to be, I mean, like let's go. Like, and
No one's swinging.
Looks like it's like I would not swing at Rudy Gobert. That guy is scary, bro.
Yeah.
He's scary.
He's the Eiffel Tower, the Stifle Tower, they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like, I mean, I've watched, I've mentioned this before, I've watched more games of other teams this year than I probably ever have. And that's just because of my ability to watch it. Shout out to both of you guys actually for helping me set that up. But, you know, it's exciting because you get those, and I'm gonna go back to, you know, Chris's guy that I'm starting to hop on the bandwagon. I go back to a guy like John Morant, who's a great slashing guard, and this guy goes into the paint and he's, you know, he's embracing the contact. Again, he's a new player to the league, so he's not a player that's, you know, like a James Harden that's used to getting these fouls. He's a guy that's like, all right, you're not going to call a foul on me? Say less. I'm going in. I'm going to brace the contact, and, you know, I'm either going to switch it up middle of the air. I'm going to dunk it on you. Like, he finds a way to make it work, and it's been exciting.
While we're here, I want to shout out my guy DeMar DeRozan, who's averaging more free
Yeah.
throw attempts per game than almost every season he's had. Meanwhile, everybody else free throw attempts is dropping down.
DeMar's had a really good year, man. A
Mhm.
really good year. Like, I'm seeing like I check the Kia MVP race every week. He's been in there, not top 5, but he's been in the top 10 mentions for a couple weeks now. Like, he's good. Do I think he'll get it? I think it's difficult when you have that much talent on one team to give to one player, but like I definitely think he deserves this recognition for sure.
I think he's a solid candidate for an All-Star this season for sure.
Yeah,
Easily.
easy,
That's a
yeah,
lot. That's a
easily.
lot. Both those wing players, Zach LaVine and and DeMar for sure. I was actually thinking about that because obviously we record on Monday. This drops on a Wednesday, so the Clippers and Bulls game was Sunday night. I was actually thinking about that watching the game because man, like, and they talked about it on the broadcast. Like, DeMar was heading on a plane to go talk to Steve Ballmer and the Clippers, and then the Bulls called, gave him an offer. Basically, he couldn't refuse a higher role probably in the team, and good for him. As much as he wanted to go home, good for him. I think he made a good decision going to Chicago because everything's worked out for him since. So he's been nice.
Real nice. Real nice.
Yeah. All right, my take of the week. I just had one now. I forget what it was. This isn't really a take. This is something I've just been seeing kind of around the news, and I guess this is my opportunity to get your guys' opinion on it. The ever so changing dilemma of Ben Simmons and what his situation is, and again, since as I said, since the mental health thing has come out, I haven't said anything about Ben Simmons, and this isn't directly anything about his play, but the rumor I've heard is Jaylen Brown for Ben Simmons in a trade, the Celtics to the 76ers. What are you guys' opinions on that?
I've been seeing that. And like at first when I was looking at that, I was like, that's like an interesting trade. Like it could definitely happen. And I feel like both players would benefit from it. Just because you can kind of see, obviously, with the Celtics, I have no idea what's going on with the Celtics this year. And it's weird because you have two amazing guys in Jaylen Brown and Tatum, but it's just like, what are you guys doing? And, I feel like if you kind of shift it, have Ben come over. Yeah, Ben's maybe not like the strongest shooter, but he's a great ball facilitator, great like everything else. Tatum can just be Tatum, focus on scoring, living his best Kobe life if that's what he wants to do. And then Jaylen Brown can go over there and he'd excel in Philly too. I think he'd fit like very well into their system.
I'm gonna have to pull out a stat that I heard on the Bill Simmons podcast. Big fan of the Bill Simmons podcast over here. And one of his guests a few episodes ago brought this up, that the Celtics have won one championship, I believe, since the 1980s.
Okay, I got something to ask you after this. Just bring me back to the one championship since the 80s thing.
Right? So all these years they've rebuilt, and they were able to have a home run in that year with KG and Ray Allen and building that big three and actually going, being a competitive team for over 4 years. But when you look at this team, where are they headed right now? A few years ago with Kyrie, it looked like a bright future. Kyrie, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, you got Terry Rozier coming off the bench, Al Horford. It looked like a very top team. I was really high on them. That's probably my favorite version of Kyrie that I've seen in years. But where are they headed right now? So if you make that trade, you get a guy like Ben Simmons, get the ball moving. You get, as Chris said, get JT to do his thing. And on the other side, when you look at the Sixers, they got a good backcourt going right now. They got Tyrese Maxey, they got Seth Curry, they got Danny Green. They need a wing that can shoot the ball so they can put Embiid in that kind of like position that he can actually go to the basket. And if there's any doubles coming, they can kick it out. So if you get somebody like Jaylen Brown, who is a decent shooter and could actually facilitate sometimes, I think that's a great fit for both teams. What were you going to say about the championship?
I'll go back to the championship. So my opinion, obviously it's a great deal for Philadelphia. I think they come away looking great in that trade. I don't like it for Boston. And the reason is, Chris, you brought up, Tatum living his best Kobe life. Well, that's exactly it. The problem right now that Marcus Smart has even come out and said is that these two dudes don't want to pass the ball to anybody but themselves. So now you bring over Ben Simmons, who Ben Simmons does best when the ball is in his hand as a distributor. So now we're going to take the ball away from Tatum, in my opinion, even more than you would with Jaylen Brown, and you're going to give it to Ben Simmons. Because if you just let Tatum handle the ball, then Ben Simmons is sitting over here looking like a pineapple, like he's just not doing anything. You know what I mean? So, again, I think it's a great, like you detailed it, Steve Ash, I think it's a great trade for Philadelphia. Great trade. But I don't know if it makes sense for Boston. But then, in the same vein, like you said, What's Boston doing? Like, it doesn't make sense. And you brought up the statistic: one championship since the '80s. Like, get ready to flag this, because like I'm gonna go off. Like, the Boston Celtics are the most overrated NBA franchise in the league.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Like, I didn't, until you just said that about the 1980 thing. I didn't even put it in my head. Like, I was like, oh, I like the Celtics. I like the jerseys, I like the court. I like the environment of the Celtics. I've liked a lot of the players. Tatum's one of my favorite players in the league today. This team is overrated. 1980s, and they've won one championship, and they're always put as the highest caliber, one of the highest caliber teams in the East, if not in the league. You had a great run. You had KG and Ray Allen and Rondo and Paul Pierce. What have you done? You're irrelevant.
And also,
you are probably on the same page, bro. Like, yo, the Knicks don't even talk as much shit as the Celtics do. Like, at least you had success, but like, then you and the Knicks are almost in the same boat. Like, shut up, dude. They're so like the most overrated franchise in the NBA. And I'm a Clippers fan against the Lakers.
You should mention this, that the only championship they did get since the 80s, the big piece of that being KG, was handed to them on a silver platter because of their guy, Kevin McHale, being the GM of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm. True,
which
true.
Everybody to this day is agreeing that trade is very lopsided. But I agree with you, man. I mean, I agree with you the part that over the last 30 years, they're very overrated. The same thing, I mean, the Knicks, you bring them up. Everybody has been saying this about the Knicks. They haven't won since the 70s. And they talk every time like, oh, we're the best.
But I don't even hear the Knicks that
energy.
much.
Oh, bro, Knicks fans are my favorite fans. I think Knicks fans are the greatest fans in sports history.
Even the Bulls, bro. The Bulls haven't won since the late 90s, but they don't talk. They don't talk. I've never heard you ever say anything about, yeah, we're winning the league this year. We're going to be best in the East this year. I've never heard you ever say that, ever. I've only known you for 2 years, but I mean, I've never, you know what I mean? Like, Boston Celtics,
they were saying it a lot.
And here's the fucking mentality, too. Like, to go off the NBA board, here's the fucking mentality. Oh, I'm from Boston. I'm from New Hampshire. I'm from New England. So I see the Pats win. I'm a Pats fan. Shout out the Pats in the back. Oh, I see the Red Sox win. Fuck the Red Sox. I'm a Yankees fan. Oh, I see the Red Sox win. Oh, I see the Bruins win. Fuck the Bruins. I'm a Leafs fan. So I fucking hate Boston all throughout. Fuck the Celtics, bro. This fucking city is garbage, and the Boston Celtics are the most overrated franchise in the NBA.
Oh my god! I'm just gonna cut the part from our prediction season part or our prediction episode where he's like, "Oh, I'm really high on the Celtics, man. I love this team."
Yeah, fuck them, because it's like year after. It's not even year after year, but it's these past 2-3 years where it's just like, what are you doing? Like, I don't even know. Like, I can't come to your defense. And again, since you brought that stat up, one championship since the '80s. I'd like to see how many finals they've been in, or like conference finals, but like
2 finals.
Bro, shut up. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's crazy. I mean, and that's the thing, like, the gentleman that was bringing this up, he's like, dude, where are they going? And one thing I will say, I'll go against your point about Ben Simmons, is that I will look at Ben Simmons and Jason Tatum as a comparable to Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal last season.
okay.
You can give the ball to Jason Tatum as much as possible, but any other time the ball's not in his hand, give it to Ben Simmons, let him facilitate. So then he can still get the same shots, but
would you rather? That's an interesting like comparison. Would you rather have Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, or Ben Simmons and Jason Tatum?
Ben Simmons, Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
I agree. Size. I like the size.
Pause.
Yeah.
Big pause.
Sorry.
Man, just
You know
said,
what
I
I mean?
like the size. I like the size.
You know what I mean, though? That's what I would take.
Oh, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. That brings me into, I've got another segment here, and it's kind of the would you rather, or who would you rather. If you were starting a franchise, if you were creating, the Oshawa fucking plain walls, or the Guelph ceiling fans, if I was to start the London curtains. You know what I mean? Like if we had our own franchise, if we were starting this right
Trash
now,
franchises.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
like the guy
No
can give us
creativity.
better fucking names.
The Oshwood Dragons, the
That's right.
Guelph Grasshoppers, and the London Leopards. Anyways, if you were to start a franchise right now, I'm gonna give you a couple options. Tell me who you would take and why. And it's not just players, so I'll get into that whenever it comes. But first up, we just talked about one of this guy, Booker versus Tatum. Who would you rather?
Chris.
Yeah, that's tough. I think. God, that's hard. I think I would. I think I would rather go with Tatum. I think. I feel like Tatum. Not saying that Booker doesn't have this, but I feel like actually no, because Booker's been doing it too. Because I'm gonna say Tatum has like the ability to lead a team, to be that guy, but Devin Booker's also that guy on that team. It's just he hasn't had a good supporting cast around him really to get places and go places until, kind of like these later years with like CP and some other like additional pieces coming in. No, fuck, I take it back. I'm gonna go with Booker. I'm gonna go with Booker.
Yeah.
I'd rather take Booker because Booker just shows he's gonna put in the work night in, night out. I can count on Booker to make those tough shots, those big plays, things like that. And I just think when it comes to the game too, like I think Booker's just like a little more serious than like Tatum and stuff. Like mature is what I mean to say. Like the maturity there.
It's interesting. Before I even wrote this down, I didn't even think about this, but these guys are both very heavily influenced by Kobe Bryant. So,
Yeah.
To say, and I know you're not making it as a slight, but to say that one works harder than the other is very, very minimal because these guys both follow the Kobe Bryant, blueprint. So they're both hard workers in the gym, and they want to get the best out of themselves. But Steve Ash, who would you take?
I'll have to disagree with my guy Chris.
That's okay.
And this hurts me because Booker's my guy, bro. Booker's my guy. But if you want to actually start a franchise, or if you had the choice to have any of these guys on your team, you would have to go with Tatum. Tatum brings in almost as good of an offensive game, but also brings another side of it with the defense and the size and the rebounding. And it's the possibilities, we can't really predict that, but I would rather see Tatum as the guy and see how he would react in certain situations than have Booker. And one situation I think about is just last season against the Bucks. A lot of those defensive matchups they had, I would have loved to see how Tatum would have affected that.
Sure.
But it's not fair to do that with Booker. I think it's a really close, really, really close comparison, but I will have to go with Tatum. But Booker's my guy, bro. I love Booker.
And Tatum's my guy, so I mean, I'm with you. I agree. Like, I think Tatum's bringing you a full stat line, like you mentioned. He's not only going to get you those points. Maybe I think Booker has a higher probability to score more points. Tatum can get up there. He can put up 50. But I think again, Tatum's bringing more boards, both on the offensive and defensive end. He's getting you steals. He's getting you blocks. So. Again, very, very close comparable, but I'm going with my guy, Jason Tatum. Duke boy, too. All right, now we're going to the center position. Well, not even arguably, this is a matter of a fact. The two best centers in the league today, the Joker versus Joel Embiid. Who you taking, C? You go first.
Again, this is it sucks for me because I like Joel Embiid, but I gotta go with Joker, man. I like the Joker too, but Joel Embiid, I like Joel Embiid because he reminds me of Shaq.
Yeah,
He's
I can see that personality as well.
Right? The whole personality, the whole troll thing, and he's just outspoken. He doesn't care, but it's my guy Joker just brings a different aspect to the game. Both of them are great back to the basket players. Both of them have a good 3-point shot. But the Joker, the way he sees the game, it's just in a different world. And this season, he's actually having a better season than last season.
Which is insane because he won MVP last year.
Which is insane. but the team is not performing, so his name is not coming up in the MVP talks. But
Totally.
the guy, he's very talented. The way he's seen the game, deserving the MVP. I think Joel Embiid's right there again. This is very close, but I would rather have a big man who will bring that aspect of the game. And another guy that we're seeing right now that's getting a lot of noise is Evan Mobley, and how he's also affecting his team right away as he got drafted. But
Yeah.
I would rather have a guy who can move the ball at 7 foot tall.
100%. Yeah, I agree with C. Yeah, as much as I love Embiid and everything Embiid brings to like the Sixers, yeah, I would definitely go with Jokic. Again, like C said, just having a big man at 7 foot who's able to move the ball as well as Jokic. He's giving it to you on all ends of the floor. Pause. But it's but yeah, I think what Jokic brings to like the game and brings to his team is just like something next level. And then to say like, he's doing better this season than he was like in his MVP season last year is because I feel like you rarely see that. Somebody wins MVP and then next season, they have these high expectations of that player, and then I'll say most times those players kind of like crumble under that pressure to do as well, if not better. But he doesn't seem to be cracking so far. So.
Yeah, I mean, Joker's all around. I totally agree with what you guys have said. The best passing big that we've ever seen. The biggest factor for me when I choose the Joker over Embiid, again, they all do basically the exact same thing. Like you said, Joker kind of gives that offensive level a bit more, but it's durability. I can rely on Joker to play 80 to 82 games. I'm not getting that at a Joel Embiid. I'm getting a high level when he's on the floor. I'm getting a willingness even when he's injured to play, but I'm not getting a full season out of Joel Embiid, unfortunately. But just to get in on my NCAA bag, going back to Evan Mobley, this guy, every single game, man, he amazes me. He wows me. Like, I was watching him in March Madness or shortly before March Madness last year, and he played for the USC Trojans with his brother as well, and Isaiah Mobley. And I honestly had this team going to the Final Four simply because of Evan Mobley, how good he is on the defensive end, especially, but also the offensive end. I had them beating, Chris's boy Jalen Suggs of Gonzaga. But
my boy, that's my boy. Get out of here, brother.
But I definitely agree.
I should be rolling in my grave because we didn't draft Suggs.
I definitely agree, though. A Joker is the better pick for there. All right. This one is moving to the front office. Now, it's a little bit of a hypothetical and a little bit of a flashback, so I'm combining here. Your front office, so your GM, your president of operations, Phil Jackson, Phil falling asleep in the stands watching the New York Knicks Jackson, that Phil Jackson version, when he literally didn't do anything, he just got paid to show up. Or we're going to promote Jim Boylan to the front office position. Who are you taking, Chris?
Honestly, I'm gonna go with Sleepy Phil.
Sleepy Phil.
Go with Sleepy Phil. I think what it's. I don't know if it's a confidence thing. If you're so confident in your team that you can just show up and just not even worry about it, let me just fall asleep. I don't even care. These boys will throw them on autopilot and let them do their thing. So yeah, we'll go with Phil. Let them sleep. The boy
Disrespect on Phil's name is crazy.
Bro, that was a bad era for Phil. That was a bad era for Phil.
I don't care. The fact that him and Jim Boylan are in the same sentence, and we're not talking about past Bulls coaches. Like, come on, man. They
I just
should
figured
never be in the same sentence.
Reunite them. So you're gonna take Jim Boylan, is what I'm hearing.
No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm taking my guy Phil Jackson. Phil gets a bad rep for those New York days, man. I think his biggest mistake was trying to enforce the triangle offense.
Yeah. Which
is just like the most outdated offense in the league now because there's so many ways of actually guarding it.
Mm-hmm.
But man, there was a time that like Phil was on the whole New York TV thing and just telling them like, "Oh, we're shopping Kristaps Porzingis." before he got fired, and everybody was killing him because they're like, "Why would you shop the unicorn?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we saw what kind of player he is now.
Yeah.
And Phil back then, like he might have seen this coming, but people killed him. But
That's true.
so I will every day I will take Phil Jackson over that fucking egghead.
Yeah, that was more just a little hypothetical to see.
That kind of ruined my day. The fact that he brought up his name, I just remembered him. Just no, my day is ruined.
Okay, moving on to the next one. Now you're in this organization. Both these organizations have had great success since the '80s, mind you. Not like the Boston Celtics. Which organization would you rather be a part of? Whether it's at whatever level, whether you're a player, coach, but actually as a player, if you were a player, what organization would you rather be? You get Pat Riley of the Miami Heat coaching you, or you get Greg Popovich of the San Antonio Spurs coaching you. Two great coaches, two great franchises that have won a lot. What's your situation? See,
That's
you go first
tough.
this time.
That's tough. If you look at stats and all of that, you look at like the Heat have won what, like 4 championships or
Yep.
3 championships, since the '90s.
Three since the '90s.
3, and then you look at the Spurs, they got 5. They were a dynasty. You know, you just brought up, which team would I rather be part of? I'm just gonna bring a different angle to this.
Okay.
Just gonna add like a different
Little
side to it.
spin on it, yeah.
A little spin, just a little bit. I would rather be with the Heat because I can live in Miami.
But you can also live in Texas.
Yeah.
You don't want to live in
Greg Popovich.
Texas?
All of Drake's
Greg Popovich is
exes
a
live in
hard ass,
Texas,
bro.
brother. Come
So
on.
is George
Greg Popovich is
Straits.
a hard ass, bro. If I'm going for if I care about the legacy and all that, cool. But my guy Floyd Mayweather said, "Legacy cannot feed my kids."
It's true.
Fair enough.
I am battling demons right now, but I will also agree with C. I'd be flying out to Miami simply because, again, like you said, like Miami, great franchise, winning those chips, doing all that stuff. But I have that added bonus of living in fucking Miami, bro. What's in San Antonio for me? Tell me.
Lots, bro.
Like what? Tell me.
Pull up San Antonio women.
I'm not
The
gonna
big
lie.
old-
The first
the
thing
big
I
old
did,
San
the
Antonio
first
women.
thing I did, pull in a fucking Lou Will was a fucking one of the top strippers in my.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
Houston and San Antonio in the
Yeah,
same state, so
No, I know
Yeah.
that's the thing, but I
But
want.
Miami, you live in Miami.
I'm
You don't
living in
drive to
Miami.
Houston.
Okay, Will Smith wrote a song. Welcome.
see the thing is though,
I
the
don't
thing
hear no song
is,
about "Welcome to San Antonio." No, nobody.
the thing is, bro,
Welcome.
I know me, and I'm easily distracted. So I'm gonna take the San Antonio route. I'm gonna win my 5 chips. I'm gonna focus on the game. Maybe at the
Okay.
end of my career, I'll fly out to Miami. I'll play, a year or 2 in Miami. But I know myself, so I'm
Okay,
Hey,
gonna
bro,
okay.
let me be
stay
distracted.
focused. Yeah.
I would
Yes.
stay distracted. Fuck that. Hey,
I don't want to.
Miami.
Hey, I just don't want to end up like Delonte West. That's all I'm saying. I just don't want to
Okay.
This guy. I want to make sure I stay
Okay.
on the straight and narrow. 20 years, San Antonio. I'm good. Win 5 chips. 25%. I'm easy.
This guy said Delonte West.
Just bringing up facts. Him and LeBron James' mom. Anyways, moving on to the next one. This one's going back to players. 2 young players that really can do everything on the court. One we've seen more of. One, he's in his, 2nd year, and people are talking about MVP. LaMelo versus Luka. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Luca. I
Did you-
think.
Yeah, I can't
Taking
believe you
Luka,
just
like,
waited for
yeah.
a moment.
It's like, yes, I like what LaMelo's doing and what LaMelo brings to Charlotte. But yeah, just Luca overall, bro. Like, that's an easy pick all day. Because Luca's been
Bro.
doing this, and he's used to this pressure. Luca's used to hitting those big shots, doing these things, and plus actually no, I guess they're both like similar height and stuff like that. 'Cause I don't know why. To me, LaMelo still, when I look at him, he looks smaller, but I know he's not small. Like he's a big.
His frame's smaller.
He's got a smaller frame.
Luka's a chunkier boy.
Yeah, a little chunkier boy, but no, I'm think I'm going. Yeah, I'm definitely going Luka all day because Magic, baby.
Yeah.
I can't believe my guy Chris hesitated on that. Give a little hesitate. He's like,
Because I thought it's the other thing. I thought about it. My mind was like, Back to that building a franchise. I was like, who am I taking, LaMelo? Or I was like, nah. Like, I haven't seen enough from like LaMelo yet to firmly put all my eggs in
But I know, but that's kind of unfair against LaMelo. But go ahead.
Let me say this. This is only a comparison because Tobias is a LaMelo fan. I have never heard of
I've been a LaMelo fan.
He's been.
You have been. I'll give you the credit.
It's true.
And LaMelo's a great player, but Luka's a generational talent.
Mm-hmm.
Luka is being brought up in conversation for who's going to be the best player in the next 20 years.
Oh, I think he can. I think he can
years.
retire as the best player of all time.
So
I think he can surpass Michael. I think he can surpass LeBron.
His resume for the first 3 years is bar none, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at a guy like LaMelo, he's a great player. And I don't want to degrade him to show how good of a player Luka is, but they're just not in the same conversation.
Yeah.
I think LaMelo has a great chance to be an all-star, while Luka has a great chance to be the best player in the league.
Yeah.
And also, LaMelo has been going out with Tiana Taylor, and
Tiana Trump.
Tiana Trump.
Sorry, my fault, Tiana Taylor. Tiana
Yeah,
Taylor is very different level. Again, Tiana Trump, Tiana Taylor.
Yeah.
Different conversation.
Who is buddy with the juice box cut that used to play for the Cavs? Amon Shumpert. That's who's dating.
Juice box
Are they
cut?
married?
Don't disrespect
They're not
him on
dating.
like that.
Yeah, they were.
I swear they're dating.
Yeah, they're still dating. Tiana Taylor.
Wait, hold on. What?
Are they not married?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just know they're
I
together.
swear they're married. Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to Shumpert. This guy, he's got the moves on Dance with the Stars, bro. This guy's killing
He's
it.
finessing. He's finessing.
He's killing it.
He's actually
I got a
finessing.
perfect
Isn't
score.
isn't she a
on
professional
the thing.
dancer too, though? Something like that. Like
Yeah.
Tiana Taylor? She's
Yeah.
a musician.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
great.
And I know
She's
she
on
can-
she's on good music, bro. Kanye did her most recent album.
Oh, okay.
When they
You guys
did
didn't see her
2018
in
rollout.
Coming to America?
She was in Coming to America?
She was in the second Coming to America.
Oh, no, I didn't
And
see
I
it.
still haven't watched it yet.
You guys should watch that, bro.
Nah, that's too mainstream for me, bro.
I might rewatch
I
the
don't
movie
do that
just for her.
mainstream stuff.
I don't watch sequels. Yeah,
This guy, I don't watch sequels.
okay, so now moving back to the organization comparison, and these, we were just talking about the Spurs versus Miami. Now we're talking, not the Celtics, but we are talking about two organizations that have been fairly irrelevant. I guess one more so than the other, but definitely in the past 10 years. What team do you want to play for? Sacramento, the Sacramento Kings, or the Orlando Magic?
I mean, if I'm playing for the Magic, at least again, I'm pretty close to Miami.
But if you're in Sacramento, you're close to LA.
That's true too.
Yo, Sac got some. Yeah. I might go for Sacramento. I don't know.
Playing with current squads, is that it's like I'm just being.
You're just forget about who's on the team. That's just who you're. It's like if they just started. You now have to move to Sacramento. You know their history, and you know where they are. And I guess they didn't just start, but yeah, you know the history of Sacramento. You got Luke Walton as a coach.
maybe I'll go to Sac. Like you said, it's close to LA. Florida can be Florida sometimes, I don't want to end up on a, Florida man headline. Yeah, let's go Sacramento.
See?
Yeah, I'm going with Sacramento. I think, hey, that's the man. It's just, you know what it is? It's just a personal pick at this point because it doesn't matter with the roster. It doesn't matter with coaches. The franchises, none of them have this pedigree that I'll be like, oh, I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the city and which one you prefer. And I'm probably going with Sacramento. As Chris mentioned, this was the angle I didn't think about. Is Florida got some crazy people, man.
Yeah. I was thinking about it, I was like, yo, Florida's that's a southern state down there, but you can get dangerous in and around those areas.
So I'm actually
that might be another reason I don't go to San Antonio. I don't know.
going to take
Texas, bro.
Orlando,
You're
and
gonna
I'll tell
take
you
Orlando?
why. Yeah, and I'll tell you why.
Because this guy
Florida's
wants to go to Disney World.
Florida's the tax-free state. California
Mm.
is not. So I'm gonna take more money home. So that's the way I was looking at it. Where in my opinion, they're both on the same level. They're both, Florida,
Makes
California.
sense.
But I'm gonna take more money home at the end of the day. I want my bag.
Oh.
All right, final one. So we talked earlier about Ben Simmons and Tatum versus Westbrook and Beal, right? Now, how about this? This is current. Now, I feel like initially you guys are going to be like, that's a weird question. Dame and CJ or Spencer Dinwiddie and Bradley Beal?
Yeah, this is a weird one. I don't like it.
So what's your take?
Bro, this is just weird. Like, this is a world I just never thought about. I'm going to have to go with Dame and CJ. Like, that's just... Listen, Bradley Beal's a great player. I don't know why he's in the same sentence with Spencer Dinwiddie.
Well, that's the backcourt, right?
Yeah, I just... Nah.
It's like the
I
backcourt
would
of Dame and
rather-
CJ and the backcourt of Dinwiddie and Beal. So it's Washington's backcourt versus Portland's backcourt, essentially.
I think you could have came up with... I think maybe there's a better comparison because I think this just... Dame
Okay.
is,
Then who would you
like
say?
a few years ago, this was like... a while back, this was a big one. Here, I'll give you one. Stephen Clay or Kyrie and James Harden?
Yeah, but I wouldn't count that because two of those guys aren't even playing. That's why I didn't bring them up.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, I think I'm sorry if I'm like just stepping on your segment. But
Oh no, you're good. Because I was
Yeah.
trying to run through to try to find a comparable because the conversations before was, I mean, at least last year was or years before, but I guess John Wall's been falling off. But it was again Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook versus Dame and CJ. So I was just trying to think of a comparable, and that was the first one that popped up in my head. Again, I'm taking Dame as well. I think Bradley Beal is great as a scorer, but I think he's kind of very one category. Like he's a good scorer. I think Dame can do a lot more than that, and then you're just canceling out CJ and Dinwiddie. I think they both do something that the others doesn't do, but again, Dame is the be-all end-all. You want the best player, Dame's the best player.
Agree with both of you.
I think CJ is more proven than Spencer Dinwiddie. I like Spencer Dinwiddie, but
I
CJ 's
broke
more
my
proven.
back. Spinal.
Spinal. Love that clip.
All right, there you have it. That was another episode of the Lob It Up podcast with your hosts, Tobias, Steve, Ash, and Chris. We broke down a couple this or that comparables, would you rathers, gave our hot takes. Not even hot this week. I think they were all pretty just, regular, but looked ahead at the next week ahead. So we'll see you next week on another episode of the Lob It Up podcast.